Didi's Mission 2024. Pawar play in Mumbai. Flanked by Congress ally Sharad Pawar, Mamata says UPA is over.
आपको लगता है कि शरद जी को अब यूपीए का नेतृत्व करना चाहिए, चेयरमैन बनाना चाहिए?
क्या यूपीए? अभी यूपीए नहीं है.
Mamata Banerjee's clear message to Rahul Gandhi. Ally Sharad Pawar's approval ominous to the Congress. The grand old party hit back, calling TMC BJP's Team B.
फर्क ये है, राहुल गांधी जी हिंदुस्तान की इतिहास बताने जाते हैं और उनकी जो भतीजा अपना कोयला चोरी और गाय तस्करी के पैसा जमाने जाते हैं विदेश में. फर्क यही है. ये ममता बनर्जी ये बीजेपी के साथ सरकार में शामिल हुई थी. रिश्ता पुरानी है. ये रिश्ता को नवीकरण किया जा रहे हैं क्योंकि खुद को, पार्टी को और खासकर भतीजे को बचाना है.
Daring TMC to do it alone, reiterating that Congress still is the principal opposition.
Without Congress, anybody can defeat BJP means. I think that is not nearly a dream only.
The TMC asks Congress to smell the coffee.
This is the end of the UPA. The UPA was a model set up. It was not a pre-poll alliance. It was set up for governance. The governance is over. In 2014, the situation on a change होएगा actually. You have to be in touch with the times and the reality.
Rumored TMC advisor Prashant Kishore tweets out a storm, says leading opposition not a divine right. Top focus on To The Point this evening. Mamata's Khela Hobe to Congress. Is Didi scripting UPA's obituary? Premature or right time to strike by TMC? TMC eyeing principal opposition space. And is this the opposition's game plan to replace Rahul Gandhi? Welcome viewers, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. So Mamata Banerjee making it very clear yesterday in Maharashtra on what her game plan is. The question is, was it a tad bit premature or is this the right time? Premature being there are 5 states going into elections in the next 5 months. Should she have waited for the election results of these states and to know the Congress's lot before she said what she did? On the other hand, is this all a game plan of sorts to edge out Rahul Gandhi? Why I say so, viewers, because Mamata Banerjee was flanked by none other than Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar has been vocal about criticizing Rahul Gandhi in the past. Where the Congress is concerned, he has also come out and said that, the Congress is like an ailing zamindar of Uttar Pradesh, which is pretty much squandered away his inheritance, but still believes in his head that he is a zamindar. Both of them, Mamata Banerjee and Sharad Pawar, have no love lost for Rahul Gandhi specifically. Mamata Banerjee yesterday pretty much said those who live abroad cannot fight politics in India. Not just hint, but directly hitting out at Rahul Gandhi, having Sharad Pawar by her side. What we're playing out right now, viewers, has been what went down in the meeting behind doors between Mamata Banerjee and Sharad Pawar. The Congress still now has always maintained distance from the TMC, which hasn't been even standing with it when it comes down to the parliament. Both of them protesting against the government, but on different turfs. They've always said TMC is not our ally, therefore they are doing their own thing. But this time around you have Sharad Pawar, who is your ally, who is in bed with you in terms of the NCP in government with the Congress and the Shiv Sena in the state of Maharashtra. Has it caught the Congress completely off guard? Well, the Congress is defending itself, saying that ultimately they still enjoy about 19% of popular vote share in the country, while the TMC just has 4% and has no footprint, political footprint outside the state of West Bengal. I want to cut across to our guest this evening. Javed Ansari, political analyst, joins me. Javed, would you reckon was this a little premature, or is this the right time to strike? Premature as in, you're still quite away from 2024. 5 states are going into election. We don't know how Congress will perform. Right time because Mamata is riding on a high. She's come back after defeating BJP in West Bengal. She wants to go national. She wants to ride on the fact where she says Congress has no stomach for a fight.
Look, I strongly feel that this is all pretty undercooked. It's too early. Much will depend on how these political parties fare at the time of elections. And the bottom line is that there is no political party in the country which alone can take on the BJP. If the opposition has even a remote chance, and I underline the word remote, then all of them need to band together, come together. This business of one-upmanship, of undercutting each other will do nobody any good. And as far as Mamata Banerjee is concerned, she certainly believes, in her mind, she believes she's the best opposition's best chance against Modi. She has all the right credentials. She's a 3-time chief minister and all that. But everything will depend on how many seats she manages to win, which party has the largest number of MPs, and then can garner the support of others, if at all the opposition is within striking distance. So there are many ifs and many buts, and all these machinations and all this positioning and jockeying is all, into my mind, very premature.
Javed, there might be many slips between the cup and the lips, but the fact is, it's also come down right now on who will lead the opposition. The opposition all can come together because, every time the TMC is coming on and they are saying, listen, the Congress can be with us, but like, the rumored advisor to the TMC today tweeted out, it's not the divine right of the Congress, especially after they've lost 90% of the elections in the last 5 years that they have fought, to think they can still lead the opposition.
Look, the single largest opposition party should logically be leading the opposition. Now, right now, there is no question of leadership. The moment you start talking of leadership, this opposition unity is doomed. You have to leave that for a post-election scenario, provided the entire opposition put together is in a position to form the government. There's a big if on that also. There is no guarantee that if every opposition, that of all the major opposition parties come together, they'll be able to put it past the BJP. To be able to be in it with a fighting chance, you need to have a one-to-one fight on at least over 400 seats. Right now, there is very little likelihood. So there is no point in deciding who will lead and who will not lead, because in the end, it might all come to nothing. I may believe in my mind that I am the best journalist in the country, but the fact is that I am without a job at the moment. I'm retired. So what one feels, it doesn't matter. What the people feel at the time of elections, how many people vote for you, and how many seats your party wins come election time, that is what is going to matter. The past doesn't. Nobody has a divine right to be
right. But Javed, let's just as we wait for our other guests, let's just also go into the past a little bit here, because there's always been, especially where the regional satraps are concerned, there's always been this dream of having a third front, which is a non-BJP, non-Congress led front, and there is no love lost with the likes of Sharad Pawar and Rahul Gandhi. So Mamata Banerjee, very critical of Rahul Gandhi. So has Mr. Sharad Pawar been. And when you look at other political parties, maybe the YSRCP, maybe the TRS, maybe the BJD would warm up more to a third front of such than an opposition led by Congress.
Certainly, but without the Congress, will they be able to form a government? Even if Mamata is to lead, will she be able to win enough seats and garner enough support to be able to form a government? You will need the Congress. There is a lot of wisdom in what Mr. Sharad Pawar says. A lot of people are only quoting partially what Sharad Pawar also said that there is no question of leaving out anybody, including the Congress. It's important for all political parties, at least all the major political parties, to come together. When the first meeting was organized at his house, in his opening statement, he said that, where is the Congress? And this whole thing is meaningless exercise without the Congress. It may not be out of love lost, but he's a seasoned politician. He knows the ground realities. In Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, in Punjab, where are these parties? You need to have the Congress on board. The Congress may not necessarily need, but you need to have the Congress.
All right, let's bring in Manisha.
You can't have the Congress on board by undercutting it. No?
All right, okay, let's bring in Manisha Priyam, political analyst, also into this conversation. Ms. Priyam, Do you reckon a lot will depend in the next 4 months when election results of 5 states going to polls come in?
Yes, most definitely. I think the TMC pressure is also about pluralizing the space which is anti-Modi or which will go in for the against the BJP. Now, to rely only on a Congress that is unable to take decisions about its leadership, we don't know whether it is Mrs. Sonia Gandhi or Mr. Rahul Gandhi. It's a party where the electoral battles, even in key states like Madhya Pradesh, in Goa, you can win the election but not form the government. In Rajasthan, it's been a spectacle. When the elections were held in Rajasthan, the state assembly elections, it was a clear sweep for the Congress party. But look at what it has been in 5 years of power. So, the anti-BJP space cannot wait for the Congress party to emerge out of the ashes. And they need to pluralize the space. They need to put pressure on the Congress party. Nothing seems to be working from within, whether it is the group of 23, even lessons of losing elections, not being able to hold on. Look at the performance in Kerala, for example. So for the Congress, even where it has a lot of ground support and organization, I think the fact that they are not able to fight the elections to the last minute and the last mile and the last hour may mean that their base may erode sooner than we think. And there are issues that are require reorganization and restructuring, but the Congress party, for whatever reasons best known to them, is not able to do that. In that case, the TMC pressure is something that is building up. How it will build up, one does not know. There's no script to this. More or less, the TMC going to states where it has not had, nobody knew that the TMC could go to Goa. They may or may not get into the election scene, but they get a former Congress chief minister on board on their side. So as far as the eye is concerned, the eyeball is concerned, the nature of political communication is concerned, it is already quite clear that there is a lot of pressure on the Congress party. Should the Congress party not be able to reorganize those knots that it knows best, then the TMC is standing there to take the slide and to also take on the mantle in electoral battles, the anti-BJP mantle. And one could see, one never knows the script of coalition governments, who's going to be in the lead, who's going to be behind. All that is for elections in the future. The TMC is certainly writing a new script, and pressure on Congress is the main mantra for the TMC.
Ms. Priyam, very quickly, is it pressure on the Congress or the kind of language that we have witnessed coming in from Mr. Pawar, from Ms. Mamata Banerjee earlier, and the collective of the opposition is zero faith in Rahul Gandhi? Because even Mamata Banerjee yesterday, didn't shy off when she said, you can't live abroad and fight elections in India. Sharad Pawar has been very critical of Rahul Gandhi earlier.
No, it's quite clear. The best case that I hear is that yes, there are very well brought up children. Rahul Gandhi says the right kind of things, but he is not able to sustain a battle. Now, see, he may be saying the right kind of things, but to not be able to lead his party to electoral victories, that remains a question mark. Nobody knows whose advice he's listening to, what he's responding to. So he seems to be saying the right things as far as the criticism of the BJP is concerned. He seems to have the guts to be able to say things to Mr. Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister, but that is clearly not enough. In state after state, the organization, his own organization, does not listen to him. In state after state, he is not able to lead electoral battles, and therefore there is something quite amiss. The fact that he steps down from power, then again we hear that no, it's still going to remain within the family. So to the outsider, it does not become clear as to what is the big family secret around which the leadership of the Congress party will be kept a closed issue. The Congress party has not been able to reform itself in states where it has lost hold. Look at states like Bihar, the Sadakat Ashram, for example, a huge landed asset and legacy of the Congress party, not able to revive, even though they've been in a friendly relationship with Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav for as long as I remember. So something somewhere has gone wrong for the Congress party, and I think that vacuum is something that the TMC is trying to step in, and it's a huge loss, because unless that gap, because of which the Congress is not able to lead the poll battle against the BJP, even in the Hindi heartland states, somebody has to come in and take the charge. at this point of time, Mamata Banerjee taking the lead in that direction, political maneuvering or not, but as far as political communication is concerned, her meeting with Sharad Pawar has had a big impact as far as the political communication aspect is concerned. People are left thinking as to what must be the game plan of the regional important chief ministers or leaders when they meet like this in non-Delhi locations. So certainly the political pressure is on the Congress party and also for the BJP, a guessing game as to what can come from the meeting.
You know, the optics aside, Javed, the optics of it all, the political optics of it all really doesn't augur well for the Congress. Quite ominous if you have your ally Sharad Pawar standing with Mamata Banerjee when she says very clearly that the UP is finished. But, you know, we've talked about the long term. I want to quickly have you elucidate the short term of it. Till now, what's playing out in Parliament is that the TMC is protesting separately against the government on its own turf, the Congress, NCP and the other likes doing it together on theirs. Do you see that change quickly, or do you think that is going to remain because what the centre and what happens in states and these meetings is going to be different?
Well, it will play along, at least for this session. The TMC will be on its own. And, you know, everybody seems to be painting a doomsday scenario. Mamata Banerjee said, where's the UPA? But barring her, all the other, whether it's TMC, RJD, SP, whether it's, NCP, RJD, SP, all these parties, DMK, everybody was standing with the Congress when they were protesting. So there is a lot that will go on. Their positions will change. It's just too premature. It's just too premature. There is no doubt the momentum is with Mamata Banerjee. But again, you know, momentum is one thing.
Right.
There has to be a collective leadership. No political party, including Mamata Banerjee in Congress, alone can defeat the BJP. All of them have to come together to have a remote chance.
Can TMC actually look at being in pole position in terms of leading the opposition or occupying the principal opposition space? You know, the very name Trinamool is a Bengali word. They have no footprint where you go out of West Bengal, 4% popular vote. How much do you think that this is the game plan of the likes of Prashant Kishore and less of, the party itself?
So I don't know how much credit to give to the party itself or whether it is Prashant Kishore. Certainly Prashant Kishore is playing a very important role. He's trying on behalf of the TMC. He has that mandate. Remember, he tried this first of all with the JDU when he became the national vice president of the party. For whatever reasons, the JDU decided to can that program. It did not go ahead. But Prashant Kishore does have on his rolls a lot of good relationships with a lot of regional players, and really a lot of data, accurate data which is regional and specific at his command. Now he's, however, not at the forefront. The forefront face does remain Mamata Banerjee. The fact that it was a very high-pitched, high-decibel campaign in West Bengal. Who made this a national election? Definitely the BJP. And they made it a national election. So in a state-level arena, Mamata Banerjee came out as someone who was taking on the national party. So certainly she has the voice today. She has a status today. So she is like a high commissioner who's moving from state to state in the federal this thing of India.
Okay.
So it's quite clear that whether she...
You want to make a point, but I'm afraid I need to stop you both because we need to get out of this debate. That's all the time that we have. For appreciate both of you for joining us. Was it premature for TMC to stake its claim, and not just rather stake its claim, but to say that the days of the UPA are finished? Well, we'll only know in time to come. Or, is it the right time to strike? Mamata Banerjee is on a high. She's coming off West Bengal, and it's politics. Ultimately, she will try and stake claim when and while she can and when she's strongest, and she can't be stronger than this, on a stronger footing, that is. We'll keep a keen eye on all developments. Do stay tuned. Up next is God of Sawan.